How's it going, everyone? It's Mike from PC Classic Cars, back with another virtual description. Today we are going to talk about my 1968 Ford Mustang GT California Special. This is a vehicle that I bought from a husband and wife here in Texas. They owned the California Special for a number of years and did some recent mechanical upgrades to it. Before that, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of history on where the car lived most of its life, but we have a ton of paperwork. We have a Marty report. We have a huge folder of miscellaneous receipts. But as far as the ownership history outside of the customers that I bought it from, I don't have a ton of backstory outside of that. But again, overall, it is a fantastic car, front to back, and one of my favorite Mustangs I've had. Rolled through my shop in a while, and we'll dive into that here during this video. The mechanical options in the driveline that's in this Mustang, it retains the original C code 289. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a VIN off of the back of the block, but I got the date code, and it's a date code correct motor, lines up with when the car was built, so most likely everything is lining up to be the original 289 for the car. I just can't say numbers matching because I couldn't find the actual VIN. Not to say that it's not there, I just couldn't access it without taking parts and pieces off the car. Runs excellent. Again, being a C code car would have originally been a 2-barrel, now has an aftermarket Edelbrock intake and carburetor, so it runs even better than it would have been from the stock. And I believe the miles are going to be true and accurate on it. All signs point to it being a 70-some thousand mile car. I can't 100% prove that, but with all the paperwork, the provenance, and how clean the car is front to back, I do believe it to be a 70-some thousand original mile car. Backed by a 3-speed automatic transmission. It is a C4. That's what this car would have came with at the on the Marty report here. Yes, it would have been a C4 3-speed automatic, and then your factory code for the rear end was a 279 standard axle for the rear end, and that is a good reason why the car cruises at 75 miles an hour. You are optioned with power steering, power front disc brakes, factory AC, which has been converted to R134A, and it blows nice and cold. And then on your exhaust, it has been upgraded with headers, does have dual exhaust and an aftermarket muffler with your full tailpipes. And again, I can't say enough about how well this car drives. I would hop on the highway on the interstate and cruise this thing at 75 miles an hour all day long. It is an ironed out car mechanically, and it just goes down the highway just fantastic. Take a look at my test drive video. You'll see me driving the vehicle down the road. It's about 9-10 minutes long. You'll see me talk about more of the mechanical stuff on it, but again, it is an excellent driving car. On my Does It Work section, this one does have an aftermarket retro sound radio. Every once in a while, I got the radio to kind of flicker a little bit. It's continuously working, but every once in a while, it kind of flickered on and off, so there might be a bad wire somewhere. But for the most part, the radio was working. The other item that I have listed as a no is going to be the washer sprayer fluid sprayers. They are not doing anything, but everything else on the car is ironed out. All the rest of your gauges, your lights, the AC, the heat. Take a look at my Does It Work section. It is going to be posted on my website, pcclassiccars.com. It's going to be in multiple areas on the website. It's going to be in the additional informations tab, along with at the end of all the photos, you'll see a screenshot of my Does It Work section, which outlines what works and what does not work on all of my cars. During my inspection, we noted just minor leaks from the bottom of the motor, and same thing with the transmission. Nothing that needs to be addressed right now, just leaves a small little drop here and there if you park the car in the same spot, or if it sits overnight, you're going to get a little bit of a drip here and there. Everything else on the underneath checked out great. All of your suspension, the lower control arms, the ball joints, the sway bar bracket bushings, the sway bar end links are newer. The calipers have been recently replaced. Some of the other bushings look new. So basically, most of the suspension and the steering components look newer on the car. The shocks have also been replaced, front and rear. So really ironed out when it comes to the steering as well as the suspension. You'll see that in the video of me driving it. It just cruises down the road just beautifully. On my exterior, this is a code T, which decodes as candy apple red. The paint on the car is older. It still has a great shine to it. It has an excellent look, but you are going to have some flaws kind of front to back. There is some checking in a few areas. It does have some touch-ups and a few little thin spots in the paint. If I had to guess, the paint was done probably in the 90s. I could be wrong on that. I'd have to go back through the paperwork piece by piece to see if there's one in there talking about a repaint. I didn't see it on my first inspection looking at all the paperwork, but there is a ton of documents in that folder, so it very well could be in there on exactly when it was repainted. But just judging by it, it is older, still cleans up well, but take a look at the extra photos in my additional infos tab. I'll show you all of the imperfections that I'm talking about. When it comes to the overall look of the car, I don't know if there's a better looking Mustang coupe than a GT California Special. With the hood pins, the deck lid, the side scoops, and then the decals, along with your GT wheels, I think the California Special is an underappreciated car. I absolutely love them when I get them. Whenever I get them, they sell right away. I just think they're excellent looking cars, and this one being red is just a great eye-catching car. On your interior, your code is 2A, which is your standard black interior. You have your standard black bucket seats. I do think the seat covers have been redone at some point along with new foam. The seat feel is great. Overall interior condition is a stock style interior, and it shows well front to back with nothing really out of place or any major flaws whatsoever on the inside. On your engine bay, outside of your aluminum radiator, the Edelbrock intake and carburetor, and then you do have some newer valve covers and air cleaner. It's all stock appearing outside of those items that I just mentioned. It's all very clean with nothing really out of place, and it all shows really well. Same thing with the underneath. It is rock solid and very, very nice on the bottom. I see no signs of any metal work done, no rust on the bottom side. It still has a lot of its original red oxide primer showing through on the floors, which you usually do not see. And that's, again, one of the reasons why I think it is a 70-some thousand original mile car, due to the just originality underneath, outside of the suspension and the exhaust. Just a very clean and very nice original metal car when it comes to the bottom. And my overall feel, if you guys haven't figured out, that I absolutely love California Specials. This is a killer Mustang front to back, one of the best driving Mustangs, if not one of the best driving old cars I've had come through my shop in a while. It's just ironed out mechanically. The list of things to do to it outside of some paint things, it's just a ready-to-go car. It's a hop-in, turn the key, go enjoy it with your family. And at the end of the day, you have a really cool California Special, a GT California Special with all kinds of paperwork. The car is in the California Special registry. We have all of those, that big folder of paperwork that goes with the car. We have the Marty report, the door tag, the VIN on the dash. Just everything lines up. Just a cool car front to back. I can't say enough about how well it drives, and just one of my favorite just vehicles front to back that I've had in a while. I don't get a lot of California Specials because they are expensive, but when I do get them, I always really enjoy them, and this is a great, great car. I can't say it enough. And as always, I appreciate y'all watching another one of my virtual descriptions. Make sure you check out the test drive video of me driving the vehicle going down the road, along with my additional informations tab. It's going to have photos of all of the other things that I need y'all to see on all of my cars. Check all that stuff out at pcclassiccars.com. I'll see you guys on my next virtual description, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for watching.